On this episode of System Integrators Weekly, let's talk about the new CPU that Intel didn't want you to hear about and why. Plus, we'll take a look at an awesome system integrator, VRLA Tech. All that and more on this episode of SI Weekly.
Let's go, nerds!
Hello everyone, I'm Brea Thorne. Welcome to SI Weekly. For some reason, Intel only sent out 2 of the 3 main, because there's 5 CPUs that launched with the Core Ultra 200S, yada yada, Arrow Lake CPUs. But basically there's 3, and then there's 2 extra ones that don't have a built-in GPU, whatever, iGPU. So 285K, 265K, and 245K. But they only sent out the 285K and the 245K. Why is that? We'll talk about that. And we're going to talk about the company that helped me review the CPU that Intel didn't want you to know about yet. And the PC of theirs that we're giving away. It's right there. You can win that. You can win that right there. Stay tuned for more info. And also, stay tuned so I can let you know that this video is sponsored by VIP CDK Deals.
The best place to go when you want to get yourself an OEM Windows license to get rid of that annoying watermark and unlock all the customization Windows has to offer. So instead of paying well over $100 for a retail version of Windows, you can get an OEM key for a fraction of the price. Plus, you can use my code BRE25 to get a nice fat discount off of the already discounted price. Keep in mind that this is an OEM key that gets attached to this system and cannot be used with another one or if you change your hardware. Make sure you get the right key for your operating system. For more information on how to use CDK Deals, click the link in the description saying here's how it works, and I'll walk you through the whole thing. Thank you, CDK Deals, for continuing to support the channel.
Okay, everybody, before we get into it, a few disclaimers. This video is being filmed for the week of October 28th, 2024. Any pricing and availability that you see here is subject to change. And yes, we will be looking at some PCs in this one. I know, launch season just messes everything up, but whatever. We'll talk about that in a second. The next thing is you are going to hear opinions here. It's not all going to be just facts on the screen. I'm going to weigh in on my thoughts on that. If you disagree with my opinions, that's totally fine. It happens. Nobody's perfect. But feel free to do so in the comments below or in the tech discussion channel in the Discord or on stream. I stream every Tuesday and Thursday right here on YouTube and on twitch.tv/Breathorn at around 8 p.m. Central. I also stream on Sundays just on Twitch. That's gaming stuff. If you want to hang out, play some games, we can do that too. The next thing is that this is not financial advice. Kind of a follow-up to the opinions thing. I don't know what your particular needs are as an individual, so I can't tell you what's right for you as an individual. Instead, this is general observations and reporting on stuff and all that kind of thing. It's information for you to accumulate so you can make an educated decision, a confident decision when you buy your own PC. If you want specific one-on-one help, you can get that on the streams that I mentioned on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now, the last thing is this. If you're on the fence as to whether you want to go pre-built or build it yourself, well, everybody knows if you build it yourself, you can save money. It is cheaper. Because when you buy a pre-built, you're paying the extra amount for the service of having it built for you, warranted, tested, shipped out to you, all that stuff. And all the tech support call, all that's usually folded into the price, all that stuff, it's all accounted for. You're paying extra for that. And people who just want to buy a pre-built, you're in the right place. That's what I've been helping with for years. That's what we do here. And I support that. It is the best gateway into PC gaming. And if you like, it can be a great gateway into learning to upgrade, modify your PC, stuff like that. Add parts, swap parts, repair it, things like that. It's a great gateway for it. But if you are thinking you might want to build, you should strongly consider it because you can get more for your money that way. All right, moving on. Now, we have to talk about the 265K, the Intel Core Ultra 7 265K. What I don't get is why they didn't send that one out for review. The 265K, or if you want to compare it to previous gens, it's like the i7, right? You think back to 14th gen or Raptor Lake refresh, the refresh of 13th gen Intel CPUs. The only CPU that got any measurable, any real change, notable change, was the 14700K or the i7. That actually got a boost in the number of E-cores that it has. That was really the only interesting one to me when it came to 14th gen. And I think that's going to be the one to kind of pay attention to, particularly if you're looking at not just gaming. Now, let's go ahead and try to look at some facts here, and maybe that's going to help us sort of figure out what the heck is going on here. Let's see what we're looking at here. Now, this is the product stack from Intel. This is a product stack for the Core Ultra 200S series. And with this, you'll see that there are 5 CPUs at launch, but really there's 3. It's just that there are versions of 2 of them that don't have your video. You have the 285K, that's like the i9. Core Ultra 7 is like your i7, that's 265K, and the 265KF, like there's a 245K and the 245KF. The F means that there is no GPU in the CPU. So looking at the whole product stack here, yeah, the Core Ultra 9 is $589, suggested e-tail price. I hate that term, but there it is. So just about $600, right? And then you have the Core Ultra 7, the one I'm talking about, $394, nearly $200 less. That's a huge jump in price between these two. So we're gonna have to take a look at some of the differences here and see why it's that much. Now, of course, when you lose the integrated GPU, it does drop in price by about 20 bucks. And that's across the board. And then going from the 265K at $394, it's $85 less to get the 245K. But to me, there's a way bigger difference between this CPU and this one. Here's why I think Intel didn't want those being part of initial reviews, because the review kits, if you take a look at, say, someone who was really clear about this was Paul of Paul's Hardware. Hi, Paul. But Paul was like, stuff is going on. I'm not doing a full review, but this is the review kit. By the way, I'm sorry to hear that you lost your dog. That is horrible. And I hope you and your family are well. But that's why Paul wasn't going to be posting a full review. They're dealing with family stuff right now, and that's totally understandable. But he showed the review kit, and it just has 2 CPUs in it. The 245K and the 285K. They completely skipped sending these for initial embargoed reviews. Nobody was going to have reviews for those right off the cuff. In fact, they're just now coming out, and these CPUs launched last Thursday. And there's a review now out by Gamers Nexus, which we'll take a peek at. But let's take a look at this. You're talking about a difference of only $85, and we got to let's look at core count and frequency here. You're looking at a difference of 6 cores. So 6 performance cores and 8 efficiency cores on the Core Ultra 5 or the i5 version, right? And 8 performance cores, 12 efficiency cores on the 265K. And the frequencies are very close, 5.2 max gigahertz versus 5.5. Now let's take a look at the price difference between the Core Ultra 7 265K and the 285K Core Ultra 9, nearly $200. And you have only an addition of 4 efficiency cores. 8 performance cores, same thing between the two, but you only gain 4 efficiency cores and only 0.2 gigahertz for nearly $200. And yes, we're going to look at some numbers. The performance can be very close between these two for a difference of $200. It makes complete sense why they wouldn't want to promote this one, which is, it's, in my opinion, the good one out of this whole lineup, based on pricing and performance and things like that. Intel did turn this launch a bit into a flop is because they didn't include the 265K. When I was testing that thing on the stream, the VOD is up, you can check it out. When I was testing that thing in the stream, it was doing some pretty amazing things in gaming and of course in synthetic benchmarks. Let's talk about that real quick, okay? Because I have them right here. So let's compare the 265K versus a 14700K, its predecessor. This is from the video where I put a 14700K in my Falcon Northwest Talon, and that uses a 280 millimeter all-in-one liquid cooler, okay? And so let's take a look at this. The score that the 14700K got, the previous CPU, is right here. 32,366, 32,366. Looking really quickly at the score for the Core Ultra 7 265K, 35,279. Yeah, it beat it. Okay, everyone, you know, and what Cinebench is it's a benchmark that is from the people that make Cinema 4D. So if you're doing VFX, this is going to be, it's tile-based rendering. It's going to be relevant to you. Okay, but also it's a pretty tough test. Well, this is after running it. I think it was just a couple of runs because I only showed 2 minutes and 46 seconds on the clock here. So the CPU package reached 104 degrees Celsius as a maximum there. And up here, you'll see that the core temperatures reached 100 degrees Celsius. But hey, That's just Intel, man. That's how Intel works, man. It just runs to, there's an engineer from Intel who's like, if it's not running at 100 degrees Celsius, you're not getting all your performance. Yeah, okay. Check this out. This thing scored 3,000 points more or so. It also never broke over 90 degrees Celsius with a smaller cooler. A 240 millimeter AIO never got over 90 Celsius on maximum. And core temperatures never got above 88 degrees Celsius. And this would be red if it had thermal throttled. It did not. It beat it, it was better than it, and it runs cooler on a smaller cooler, okay? The 280 millimeter AIO that comes in the Falcon Northwest Talon is kind of a beast, and they're close to 360 millimeter AIO performance. And the 240 cooled this CPU better. Like, that is advancing the technology right there. That is freaking phenomenal. Chat could not believe it. Like, it was crazy. Why all the negativity? Like, it's not going to be the best thing for gaming. That's going to be AMD until Intel figures out their own version of 3D V-Cache or something else to compete with that. It's just, they can't compete with that. If you're just trying to game, AMD is going to be the main line. It's going to be the way to go. But so many people who come to my streams and ask me questions or do things like that don't just want to game. You would think the 245K would be, but it just cannot keep up with anything that has 3D V-Cache. It just can't do it. And we didn't expect it to. Intel didn't say it would. They said it wouldn't keep up. They said that the 285K wouldn't beat the 9800X 3D. Okay. AMD said the 7900X TX wouldn't be trying to compete with the 4090. It's still a damn good GPU. Okay, now let's talk about what's most important to me here. Look at this. This is from Puget Systems, which we do need to look at Puget Systems after a while. Like, I haven't really given a good look to Puget Systems because they're more workstations, more for productivity, and you know, I do need to give them a good look, but I haven't really spoken with them or anything. I should do that. But they do amazing. They basically have the industry standard testing software, testing suite for Adobe stuff. So here's Puget Venture Premiere Pro. What's that right there, right under the 285K? Oh, it's a Core Ultra 7 265K. Beating out the 14900K, the 14700K, 9950X, which is the latest high-end CPU from AMD, the 9900X, 97, all of that. You notice what's not even on this list? Anything with an X3D on the end of it. Now that is video editing. It's not all of these where the 285K and 265K are on top. Well, 285K does really well, but look, remember, look at how close these scores are, okay? And this one's $200 cheaper. Of course, Intel wouldn't want to shine a spotlight on it. Like, I can't believe they priced it like that. And it's only, look at how far down the Core Ultra 5 is. It's only $85 more than that. That's a good freaking deal, okay? That's my opinion. But it's based off of stuff like this. Photoshop, AMD owns Photoshop. They win at Photoshop. And the 265K is not doing too great here. So if you're specifically looking for a PC to edit photos, go AMD. Easy, done. But if you just need to do some, you know, making some thumbnails, whatnot for your videos, you can do that. You can maybe move up to 285K if you want to. Once you're starting to do things where you make money off of your PC, yeah, spend a little extra on the CPU because you're going to need those cores. But this, you know, this is very close. Also, these scores are remarkably close. All of these right here, all the Intel scores, there's very little movement here. So if you want to go Intel for that video editing, because trust me, I spend way more time editing video than I do making thumbnails. That's content creation, okay? If you're gonna be doing graphic design for a content creator, go with AMD then. There are other things here, like if you're gonna do After Effects, the 285K is up here, 265K is down here. So 9900X, 9950X, and the 14900K beat this. But other than 9900X, which is around the same price, I believe-ish, these are all much, much more expensive. Game Dev Virtual Production, 265K is up there. Right around the same scores of 14700K, and it runs way cooler. And, you know, not too far behind these way more expensive 285K and 14900K. Blender 265K is one of the top 4 CPUs here, and it's way cheaper than the other 3 that are right above it. I'm telling you, it's a really well-rounded CPU. And that's going off of data that is available to everybody. But man, Intel did not want it that way. And we know why now. Because they're making $200 more for 4 extra E-cores. That's why. And yes, it makes a big difference when it comes to something like CPU rendering in Blender. Yeah, the multi-core thing is going to help a lot, especially now that you don't have hyper-threading on the 8 performance cores. That does widen that gap a little bit. But there are some benefits to that, including those temperature benefits and efficiency benefits. It's also why the 285K is more efficient than the 265K. Because what are the cores that they removed from it? The 4 cores that they removed to make the 265K? Efficiency cores. It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that the damn thing's more efficient. That's enough rambling about this. I'm not trying to criticize any hardware reviewers because I'm not one. I don't do sitting there for days on end. Just, okay, they got our test bench. Let's move the other CPU into here. All right, cool. Let's run all, 15 different tests. I'm not doing that because there are people better than me doing that already. I benefit from their work. So I'm not criticizing them. It's not about the work. Sometimes it's just about the messaging around it. Because this right now is a tumultuous time for this industry. And it's been a huge turndown. People have been waiting for these launches. And if every single time it's just negativity, do not buy, do not like, are we putting ourselves out of a job now? Is that what we're doing? Do we want this industry to just disappear? The jokes are funny. I do appreciate the jokes. You got to get clicks. I understand how we can paint ourselves into a corner with the kind of content we make and what's expected of us. At some point, we do have to be a little bit more on the neutral side, I think. Being like, this is bad and this is good. It's just not a perfect product. Are there many of those? No. There are no perfect products out there. Now I want to talk about the system integrator that helped me to test out the 265K. That's in this PC right back here, and you can win it. So first off, about the giveaway. Okay, the giveaway is going for just a couple weeks. All right, you can enter there's basically a tweet that's linked down below. You can go to that. The link will be there, and you don't even have to have Twitter, X, whatever. You can still look at it and click the link. And I'm going to be adding more ways to enter than just following myself on X and following VRLA Tech on X. If you see codes there, it says code 1, code 2. That was just because we did a big stream and I wanted people in the stream that were there and hanging out to get secret codes. But the VOD is up there. The VOD is there and you can go watch that and you'll get codes as the stream goes on. Here's why I did this. These giveaways get flooded with giveaway accounts, giveaway bots, basically. Even if they're people, they act like bots. All they do is retweet stuff that's giveaways. All they do is just enter giveaways because maybe they'll win something, okay? And if all they can get is 1 or 2 entries by just following a couple of accounts on X, good. Whereas the community will have more chances to actually win by being a part of the community. That's why I'm doing that. It's for you guys. It's not for just the random throwaway accounts. I'm trying to fight that. I don't have many options open to me to do that. Anyways, so that's going to go on. It is for the contiguous US only, for the continental US only, for the ones that are connected here. And that's because I'm going to be shipping this thing out, and shipping can sometimes, for international shipping on a PC, it can cost as much as a PC sometimes. It's crazy. I can't do that. I'm just a dude in a room. What do you want from me? I'm sorry. I really am sorry. And sometimes we're able to do international shipping on some of these, but that usually has to be fronted by a big company and not by me. Let's talk about the company that's making it all possible. This is the main page of VRLA Tech here, and you'll see that there is work in play. Well, VRLA Tech started out as enterprise. That's mostly what they did. And they jumped into gaming PCs. They've been doing it for years now. And this is a really nice polished site. They have some really beautiful PCs on here, and they're really pushing what they're trying to do. Just to head this off real quick, there is now a coupon code with us. It is Brayathorn. Okay, it's like the name of the channel, and it gets you $50 off anything that you see, any of these PCs. There you go. So what are our options here? By the way, you can, with select PCs, for anything with the RTX 40 series, you can get Star Wars Outlaws. That is a big banner thing there. And some other SIs have that as well. But here we have ready to ship PCs, pre-built PCs, as in these are going to be, they're not ready to ship, but they're pre-configured. There's a custom PC builder, and you can just send in a request, like what people do with me, where I ask you what you're going to use it for, what your budget is and stuff, and I make recommendations. Well, they do that too. Continuing to look at the front page, you have financing options, 2-year parts warranty and lifetime support. So that's very, very cool. And then premium component selection, optimized configurations, yada, yada. They do have US-based support. It is not international. They do a maintenance service for PCs where they can help you maintain and optimize your PC. So let's take a quick look at ready to ship PCs. I know this video is already very long, so we're not going to be doing this for too long, but I do want to give VRLA Tech a good amount of time here just so we can take a look at their stuff. So taking a look at some of these ready to ship systems are going to be, it's going to go up in price as you go, starting with something with integrated graphics, which, that's an okay starting point because you can add in a GPU later, but the 5600G is some 1080p gaming, but not a lot. But it is great to be able to get into PCs for $575, particularly if you have an older GPU that you want to throw in here. Once you start getting up to having a dedicated GPU, then you're going to have stuff like the 1660 Ti, 2060, some legacy hardware, but there's nothing wrong with that. Those things can still play games at 1080p. And as you go up in price, it goes up in capability. Plenty of options here at right around $1,000 with the 4060. Which is nice to see. 12400F, 4060, 1200F, 4060. But once you start getting up to $1,500 and $2,000, there's still some legacy hardware on this ready to ship stuff, and that stuff is out there. And these are brand new parts, but they're older technology. So 3080 will still get you pretty far in 1440p gaming, maybe a little bit of 4K. We're starting to get up here mid-range. Like this right here is a really nice looking one. For $2,400, you can get something with a 12900K, which is still a great gaming CPU, but also it's not really just for gaming. A 12900K was aimed at gaming, but also productivity, stuff like that. And a 4080 Super, I'd like to take a look at this ready to ship system. Let's take a good look at it because it's a really gorgeous case, white GPU, silver accents on the motherboard. It's a really nice looking system here. And this one has 32 gigs of DDR4 3200. So that's one of the reasons it is lower price, because with 12th gen up to 14th gen, you could do either DDR5 or DDR4. And the great thing about the 12900K is that you have something where you could upgrade it to 13th or 14th gen, but this didn't have any of the issues that 13th and 14th gen could potentially have. 2 terabyte M.2 drive. And of course, that 4080 Super, Zotac 4080 Super, 360 millimeter all-in-one liquid cooler. Of course, that 12900K, and an Asus Prime Z690P. So if you're looking for this to be a streaming system, this motherboard didn't have a whole lot in the way of I/O, but you can add in, PCIe, USB cards, things like that. This system for $2,400 with a 4080 Super, pretty sweet. And this thing's just ready to ship. There's just a really wide variety of ready to ship systems, all the way up to a 7950X3D 4090 system. This has the Core Ultra 9 285K and a 4080 Super. 4080 Super 7800X3D. This is 4K gaming all over it. 4K 1440p or very, very, very high frame rate 1080p for competitive gaming. Let's take a look at it's under pre-built PCs, although it is pre-configured, is what I would say. But there's a Centaur right there. And it's been updated for what we unboxed on Thursday. So this is a system you could win right here. So this one has the 4070 Ti Super, the Core Ultra 7 265K, 240 millimeter all-in-one liquid cooler that, as I showed, even under a ton of stress with Cinebench, it was staying pretty far away from that 100 degrees Celsius thermal throttling point. This had a 2 terabyte M.2 drive, but they're doing themselves a disservice here because the drive they sent me, and I'm not sure if it's going to be the same drive in every one, but it was a Kingston KC3000, which is a high-end PCIe Gen 4 with onboard DRAM. The sequential read and write speeds were up to 7,000 megabytes per second, both for read and write. Really nice drive. It had a Z890 motherboard. The one that it came with was an ASRock Z890. Heck, this might even be a picture of the system they sent me. It's hard to tell, but it looks very similar. 850 watt, 80. Yeah, they just put 80 plus. This was an 80 plus gold Corsair Shift power supply. Now, if we look at power supply here, that's not something where the options for these pre-configured systems are here, and you only have specific options. You have RAM, which SSD is going to go in there. Power supply cables, you can choose for $40 to get some, unless you get the Shermer ones, which are more expensive. You can choose to get colored cables here. The RAM that they included was 32 gigs of DDR5 6000 megatransfers per second, which is not going to be the just cheapest option possible. Instead, it's going to be a faster option. You can get it to 64 right here. That's another option you have there. You can choose to go with iQ or Lian Li Unifans. But yeah, this was a great PC. You can get it in the black case. This was in the height Y40, which comes in black, white, or red. Coming in at $2369.99 For a 4070 Ti Super and the Core Ultra 7 265K, remember, just the CPU by itself is $400. This is a pretty nice system for that price. With 2 years parts and labor warranty, it's good. It's a good deal. But man, they have some gorgeous PCs here. Like they got the Helios and the Lee & Lee Vision. This is with Ultra 7 265K. This one right here for $2699 is just a visual. Like, look at this. By going with the white case and then an all black motherboard and GPU, it's almost like making the core hardware here really stand out. Would I have preferred it with a white motherboard and a white GPU? I personally would, but I know some people who build like this on purpose to get contrast, because contrast is a thing. That's one thing I like, is that you have a system that's over $2,000. Well, it comes with 2 terabytes of storage right there. Heck, you could upgrade it to 4 terabytes for $129. That is a reasonable amount to double your storage. This is a gorgeous system. It looks good in black or in white. Ultra 7 265K, 360 millimeter AIO, 32 gigs DDR5 6000, 2 terabytes of M.2 storage, NVMe storage, a 4080 Super Z890 motherboard, and an 850 watt power supply. Yeah, that's a reasonable upgrade right there. In fact, the visual upgrade plus the hardware upgrade in terms of the GPU, it does make sense with the price increase of about $300, $200. But I think that these warrant a look through if you want to take a look here. And what I want to do now is I want to take a look at their custom PC builder. Let's take a look through here. Let's go for mid-range. So here, there's just going to be a configurator to where it's a really, really brief one too. They made this very condensed. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. So looking here, you have options like the 4000D airflow. I probably wouldn't go for this one here because it's a tempered glass front and just a little side ventilation here. It's not a ton. It's not the worst, but it's not, I wouldn't do that. I'd probably take a look here, 4000D or the O11 Air Mini. Then we look at the 5600X. Let's go ahead and upgrade that to a 7600X. And then we can just throw something like the tower cooler in here, which you can upgrade your cooler down the line, but a tower cooler like this one is going to take care of that 7600 no problem. So let's go with 32 gigs of DDR5. Wow. All of these are DDR5 6000. Yo, that's freaking phenomenal. I love that. Very cool. Kingston Fury Beast, 32 gigs, DDR5 6000. Love me some Kingston RAM. Let's go with that. We're not going with a hard drive. We're going with an SSD. The default is a 1 terabyte. Again, hell yeah, VRLA Tech. No 512s to be found here. Love that. But you can go up to 2 terabytes for $120. That's about what you'll find a lot of 2 terabyte drives for at retail. That's really good. This is good stuff. Instead of 4060, let's go 4070 Super. And there it is right there. That's exactly what I was looking for. Power supply, choose an option. I don't like that it just says 80 plus. VRLA Tech, you got to put gold here or something, because 80 plus would signify that it hasn't met like 80 plus white or whatever, or just 80 plus. Like it doesn't have a rating or something. Now for this, you can go with a 750 watt power supply and it will totally handle a 4070 Super. If you want to cover potential future upgrades, because let's all face it, NVIDIA is not backing down on power requirements for their GPUs, you go with 850 watts, I would say, would be a good option there. You can choose some nice cables here. Quantity of fans just says 3. And in the 4000D airflow, because we're going the tower cooler, we might want to go ahead and say 4. So you can have 3 fans on the front, 1 fan on the rear, and there you go. Case fans, you can then upgrade them here to be high performance RGB fans. I do like these. They have options for just Silent Wings 3 black fans. So you have still non-RGB fans, but they're quieter. There's also high static pressure fans. That's really nice that they specify that, but man, they get expensive. And motherboard, choose an option. B650 Wi-Fi motherboard. B650 because it's going to be a mid-range system. And operating system, there's no option here to install Windows and not activate it. That's pretty standard for most SIs. Most SIs don't give you that option. But now we're looking at 1864.97 for a system that can completely play any game at 1440p, and it'll be completely playable, no problem whatsoever. Plus, it's very upgradable because we went with a Ryzen 5 7600, its socket AM5. So this is a pretty sweet mid-range gaming PC right here for 1864. And of course, this was just me choosing options. You could choose whatever options you want. Overall, I'm very, very happy with how VRLA Tech handled the quick. This was a quick build and it's awesome. So that really speaks more to me than a really curated kind of review system. And yes, they did. I'm sure that they took their time. They took at least a couple of hours to make sure everything was really good before they packed it away. I didn't secret shop this. This was a collaboration so that I would have a system to review that to 265K. But that's not the point. The point is, with a curated system that's not secret shopped, what you're seeing is the potential best case scenario for most customers. That's the ideal. And that's why I tell you, don't just take my word for it from an unboxing stream where I'm just testing out something that they knew they were sending to a YouTuber. Go to the Discord and look under SI testimonials and see what people have to say. And I do want to showcase something really quick because there's someone who's commenting that some of these pages are missing. I'm going to show you right now that it's your own settings that's causing that. I'm going to show you by bringing up under SI testimonials. If you click the name SI testimonials, it will take away the ones that have been read. So iBuyPower, because I've kept up with those, it disappears. If you unclick that, this little arrow right here, it drops it back down. So for the person who was saying, hey, it's missing, it's right there. All of it's right here. But for those of you who are interested in certain SIs here, take a look, see what other people are saying. Okay, and we're going to add more. We have VRLA Tech here, though, and we have a few people who have reported in. But we do need more people to report in. So if you end up using code Braithorn to get $50 off a PC at VRLA Tech, please do so, and then let us know how it goes, because you're only helping out other community members by doing this. And by having more feedback and all that, it's only going to help out. The more feedback, the better. But yeah, I just wanted to address that because someone was saying some of them are missing. No, it's just you have it clicked to where it disappears once you've read what's in there. So that's it. Just wanted to give a big thumbs up to VRLA Tech. They did a great job, and I approve. There's a few things to update on the website. That's it. That's really my only critique. And that's just something that happens with time. Usually, when you're looking at your own stuff all the time, you just need a fresh pair of eyes on your website, especially these eyes that look at system integrator websites every day is my job. So there you go. Free little consultation for you on the site. And I look forward to any updates you guys might do from that. This is the service that I provide because it helps out consumers to do so, and that ends up making everybody happy. Well, that's going to be it for this video, everyone. I'm hoping to see less negativity around hardware reviews in the future. Because we just yes, point out what's bad, but also point out what's good without minimizing it, and just buy what works for you. You don't necessarily have to have the thing that's on top of the charts for everything. It just needs to work for what you're going to use it for. And if you prefer to have something that runs cooler but isn't at the top of the charts, you should be very happy right now, because that's what Intel's releasing. It's good. I think it's an okay thing. It's a good foundation moving forward. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep an eye out on the channel because there's a lot of exciting stuff coming out. Until then, take care.